Today, I'm talking through the ways that I'm unlearning what social media has subconsciously taught me. I've found that over the years, social media has kind of killed my creativity. In fact, it's only over the last couple of years that I've really been able to step back and see how I can improve my work by not posting on socials. Of course, this is a personal and subjective subject, and this may not apply to everyone. You may find that social media works great for you and doesn't affect your creativity at all, in which case, great. And of course, I'm not saying that social media is quote unquote bad, because it has, of course, allowed me to get reach and get followers and all of that jazz. So this isn't a blanket ban on social media, it's more just a mentality shift away from what we generally tend to see or think of as creative when we look at social media art accounts. This video is for people who are getting tired of the burnout and despair that comes with being unable to live up to the algorithm's expectations. So with that, let's dive right in. The first thing that I have unlearned is that using different mediums is completely okay and also normal. The Instagram aesthetic only gives us a chance to dabble in the one medium that gives us the most engagement, and anything else, don't even bother posting it. Because of that, I felt a lot of pressure to find, quote unquote, my medium, or at least consistently post the same medium on my Instagram page. So if you really scroll all the way back down to my Instagram page, you'll kind of see the evolution in that I started off with urban sketching, and then I moved on to acrylic paints and gouache paints, and then now I'm finally on digital art, which has kind of hindered me in the last few years with regards to physical art because I don't do as much of it now. However, watching artists like Tiffany Mang, who I mention a lot on this channel, has showed me that it's okay to dabble in different mediums, and there's nothing wrong with you. In fact, it's more artistically normal to do this, and this was completely reaffirmed by the artists that I interviewed for my digital art podcast called the Pixel Paper Podcast. You can check it out in the link below. Doing so allows you to be more experimental and creative in the mediums that you normally use because you are thinking outside of the box and you're able to learn new things as well. The second tip I have is that fundamentals are way more important than aesthetics. I really wish that I had known this earlier so that I could have learned basic things like color or composition, because it would have saved me way more time and confusion than simply drawing stuff on the page, wondering why it looked wrong, but posting it anyway because I was like starved. Aesthetics are great and everything, but they create unrealistic expectations for everyone, and personally, they detracted me from the art itself. I was making art purely for the sake of the gram and not for the sake of learning, and that is quite a regrettable thing in my opinion, at least having experienced that myself. Moving on, the next tip I have is to create bad work. Yes, I know, it's so difficult. But honestly, it's the only way that you can make good work is to get all the bad work out of your system. People post their highlight reels on Instagram, and it just goes back to the idea that we all live under false impressions, because even though we fully well know that these people do not have perfect art, and even just in general, they don't have perfect lives, we still think that they only make good work or they only have good lives because that's all that they are showing. But we shouldn't be discouraged when our paintings turn out bad. In fact, this should only fuel us to make more work in order to improve and experiment further. The next tip that I have is to paint multiple paintings at a time. Now, this generally depends on your kind of motivation and on your time, but personally that I've found that if I complete my one painting quota for Instagram, I don't bother painting anything else because I'm like, oh, that's it, I'm done. It's kind of like just having a deadline. Like, for example, if I make my YouTube video for the week, then that's it, I'm done. I don't need to focus on making another video. But it's quite different in the case of Instagram because I'm making art, right? In a way, it kind of makes me lazy as I don't go above and beyond what I could do. And as long as I have something to post on Instagram, it's all good. But I really shouldn't allow that kind of thinking to take over. And to be honest, it's kind of similar with YouTube. Like, for example, if I'm making a piece of artwork or I'm trying something new on YouTube, I should still take it further, even if the camera isn't rolling. In a similar vein, consistency and discipline should not be restricted to the confines of a social media app. It should extend beyond into our daily lives. Art is definitely a lifestyle practice, not just a thing to garner attention or money or fame. Essentially, I am painting not for the sake of Instagram, but for the sake of communicating an idea through art. And if that is my intention, then I shouldn't care really if a painting looks good or if it will get enough likes. I should make the art solely for its own sake, and I will be disciplined enough to stick with it, even though it will be challenging, and even though I will end up making a ton of quote-unquote un-Instagram worthy art, which kind of goes back to the point of making bad art. What other things can you unlearn from social media? I'd love to hear what you have to say on this subject, so leave them in the comments below. And if you're interested, you can subscribe as well to my email newsletters on productivity, which is basically creativity and productivity, and these are sent out every other Monday. They are similar to my video scripts, but they go a bit more in depth, kind of talking through theory, through books that I read, and kind of my own productivity essays, I suppose you could say. So if you're interested, you can check it out in the description below, and of course, I would also highly appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. With that, I will see you next week for another video. Bye!